Hey guys, how's it going? Happy spring. It's finally spring. Well, here it's finally spring. I just read that over in the eastern part of the world, of the United States, of the world. Anyway, eastern states are getting smashed with snow. It's April 26th today, you guys. It's warming up here. I don't know what to say to those other places. I'm sorry. Global warming, something, something. Anyway, I have some things. I've got a few things, just a few things today. But I'll fill some more time with some other stuff, so you'll see. I am Zira, also known as Love of the Dark. This is my beverage. Ice. It's a Moscow Mule. Because it's Friday, and it's tangy. And let's see. Let me just start. I'm going to start with the small stuff. I've got a lot of little things to show you guys today. I have been on a crochet kick. So, my grandma taught me how to crochet when I was a little girl, like 6 or 7. And all I ever got to was like single crochet. So I would just do these long strips of single crochet forever and ever. And and then I lost interest once I figured out how to do that. So it's been that long since I've crocheted, and here and there I've done like some granny squares. I have enough granny squares for a blanket. I just never did put it together because stitching blocks together is probably my least favorite part of crafting. And I love it when it all comes together and it's all done, but the actual stitching of it, I would pay someone else to do that for me. So, I've been bitten by the crochet bug. I'm hooked on crochet, if you will. I got this book. My priestess actually has this book. It's 100 Flowers to Knit and Crochet by Leslie Stanfield. It's a great book. A lot of the patterns in here are super good, like very good. They turn out how they should, blah, blah, blah. There's a few of them that I think are duds. Now, that could partly be because I'm not super skilled yet at crochet. It could also partly be because some of them are just not that well put together. And that's the case, I'm sure, for at least a couple of them. And I'll show you what I mean. Most of them, though, are really good. I had to go on Ravelry a couple of times and say, Hive Mind, help me out. What does this thing mean? Because she words it in such a way, there's certain things that she words in really not standard terminology. And so I kind of had to figure that out. I know that with crochet, there is the US abbreviations and there's the UK abbreviations, and they're different. So for example, the UK does not have an SC, a single crochet. Their single crochet they call a double crochet, and in doing it, I actually totally understand why they do that. You pull it through twice. That seems like a double. But we call that a single crochet. Now this, as far as I've been able to tell, this book is all in American US terms. But once in a while, she throws in a term that I've only ever seen in UK patterns. So it was a little bit like, whoa, what am I supposed to do here? So I actually emailed her directly and said, hey, what does that thing mean? And she got right back to me within a day or two and explained it. And so I was able to move forward. Overall, definitely worth the cost of the book, with as much love as I'm going to get out of this thing. My priestess is a quilter, a very professional level quilter. Like, she's judged quilting competitions. Oh my god, I'm going to have to snap some pictures when I'm out there. I'll be out there on Saturday. I'll snap some pictures of some of her quilts. They're just gorgeous. But she likes to add embellishments to them, so I've been making her flowers to go with her quilts, or, whatever she wants. So I wanted to show you a few of those that I've done. They're very fun, and I'll show you a couple of the duds. First of all, I'm going to show you 2 that I did as a test knit. And you know what? I did not write down the name of the gal I test knit for. And so I'm just going to show you these, and then I will put links. I'm going to be a good girl today. And I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to put links below to everything that I'm talking about. I promise. I'm going to do it. Oh, hold me to it. If I don't do it, slap me. So this first one is a beautiful little rose, and these are flat. These ones are flat for, like, embellishing or whatever. This was super fun. I'm not going to zoom in because it's a flower. You can see what it is. But it's a beautiful little rosebud. Let's see if I can hold that in a better way. A beautiful little rosebud. I loved it. This one was actually really easy. The funny thing is the way this starts out, when I got to one of the corners, I was like, oh God, what do you mean turn the thing and do the thing? And I totally didn't get it. And then I just stopped myself and I said, okay, what does this very next thing say? Just do that thing. Don't worry about the next part. So I would do that. And then I would just go one little abbreviation at a time. Do that thing, do that thing, do the next thing. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, the reason I think that we get confused is because we're reading ahead and not understanding what that means or how that's going to look. But once we get to that point, we're like, oh, just put the thing in there and do the thing. And sure enough, it worked out really well. And I'm going to knit that probably a bunch of times. It's really cute. I could do it in a bunch of different colors. Yay, little rosebud. Super happy with that guy. This next one was really fun. This is a, I'm having a brain fart. A lilac? Lilac? It's a lilac. And it's a, it's a flat piece-ish. I mean, this thing is kind of roundish. Now, I really liked this one. This one I had a little trouble with in the beginning, but once she explained what she meant, I just went right through it. What I would do next time, what I would do differently with this pattern is I would make a much more substantial stem, because that little stem is just sort of hanging out. It's just a single chain. There's not even a, like I would go back and do a single crochet all the way up to make it more substantial. But it's really cute. Sorry, it's really dark. I've got these glaring bright lights on me. I don't know why you can't see it, but anyway, really cute, really fun, way easier than I thought it was going to be. That was another one where I read through the whole pattern and I was like, oh crap, I don't know. But then, step by step it, and it was beautiful. It was totally fine. And I'll put a link. I'm going to chew my eyes. I'll put a link to her Ravelry page down below. She's got a lot of other really cute patterns, and there was a whole bunch of different flowers that she was wanting to test knit, and I was like, I'll test knit a couple of them. I'm a brand new crocheter. That might be helpful just as far as knowing if it's something that a newbie crocheter is going to understand. And I totally did. So that was rad. So let's see. The rest of these, I believe that the rest of these are all in the 100 flowers to knit and crochet book. So we'll start with this guy. This is a terrible color pink. It's like too pastel. I need to do it in a brighter shade. But this is a beautiful, here, let me push this back where they should be. A beautiful fuchsia. Maybe those do go that way. It's been a while since I've seen a fuchsia. Super cute, super easy. And again, I'm sorry, it's kind of dark. It's because I used a very dark purple in the middle. That one was, I would say, fairly beginner friendly. Like if you really don't know what you're doing, if you know what a single crochet is, what a double crochet is, what a treble crochet is, and what the halves of all of those are, you could totally do this. If you have no idea what those things mean, you're definitely going to want to take a quick like how to crochet course, or like look it up on YouTube or whatever. If you know what those things are, you'll get it. That one was not terribly hard. Let's see. This next one was also this was actually super easy, and this is a knit. This one was knit. Those other two were crochet. And it's a beautiful little tea rose with the little rose hip and the stem. Oh, and I had this really cute variegated pinky reddy with some white splashes, and I thought that would be nice. So I really like that one a lot. I like it a lot. It was easy, super, super easy. That's definitely beginner friendly. As long as you know what a knit stitch is, then it's beginner friendly. This next one, this is an apple blossom. And it's too bright. But I was working with what I had, and it's also too big. But like I said, I was working with what I had. Super cute. If I could find a thinner, kind of paler pink, that would make a really, really cute. A whole bunch of those in a grouping would just be really sweet. So that was fun. That was all really, really easy crochet flower. Even I understood it. Let's see here. These are these in her book? These might be These might be I think these might be someone else's. Just little free little patterns that I found online for little daisies, and I just did them in a couple of colors. Super fun. Super, super fun. Let's see. This guy is in her book. And it's I can't remember the name of the flower, and I'm not going to look it up because it doesn't really matter. It's a flower with 2 different colored leaves, and it's pretty. And this one was actually really easy. Like really, really easy. Even those leaves were really easy, and I thought they were going to be a challenge, but they were not. So, super cute crocheted flower. I've got a bunch more. I'm just going to show them all to you because they're pretty all rad. This is called I might have to look this one up. It's called like an old-fashioned pink, I think is what she called it. Let me see here real fast. Yep, it's an old-fashioned pink. Now, I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know if that's the name of a flower. I've never heard of a flower called an old-fashioned pink before. But whatever. It's gorgeous. So this, I'm going to go ahead and autofocus on this. I know y'all know how much I hate that shit, but I'm going to do it so you can see it. It's really pretty. It's really delicate. It's a really fine, I used a lace weight yarn for this one that masquerades as a fingering. It is not a fingering weight yarn. It was definitely a lace weight yarn. But it was very delicate. It was a little bit fiddly, and I think that might be because the hook that I was using was just a smidge too big. I think a size down would have been would have made a little bit more compact, a little bit denser, and maybe a little bit easier to work with. But I will be making more of these. Now that I've done it, I kind of feel like, okay, now I know what I'm doing. And they're very delicate, and I like that they're flat. She'd be able to put that on a quilt really easily. It's just beautiful. But I'm using like really nice yarns for most of these flowers. I've got, you know, little bits of leftovers from fancy kind of projects, and I think it's nice to use a fancy yarn with a fancy flower. So that's cool. This little guy is just a little mistletoe. Oh, I'm going to undo the autofocus so it stops doing that thing. Cute little mistletoe. Wow, with his little mistletoe balls. Woohoo! I'm going to make a whole bunch of these and maybe make a wreath at Yule time. I think that would be nice. Let's see here. This one was super fun, and I love the button that I added. This is a beautiful, beautiful poppy flower. And some of the instructions, when it came to kind of this section here, you kind of go up and then down and then up and then down again. But that was a little confusing for me until I did it a couple of times, and then it made sense. But that's one that might not, it might not make a lot of sense right off the bat for some people. People like me who really have zero crochet skills. I made a little 4-leaf clover with, again, variegated fancy yarn. That'd be cute to have a whole bunch of those with some little flowers. I made a dianthus, and this one was fun. This one was really challenging for me. Sorry, I keep looking at the screen instead of at my camera. I'm trying to be here with you. I really am. But this one was really challenging for me because the wording, it's not intuitive. It's not an intuitive pattern. It doesn't, you don't go, oh, well, of course that's where that goes. Because it does this, like, you know, you've got your flower that starts here, it comes around and it goes behind the next one. Except that at first that next one isn't there. So you're kind of like, but I finally figured it out. This is the one I had help. I had Ravelry's help with this one, and people came to my rescue and saved me, and then I was able to finish it. And I want to do a lot more of these, maybe with different colors around the edges. I don't really know what a dianthus looks like. I'll have to check that out. Maybe they come in different colors. And even if they don't, it'll make a beautiful fantasy flower. So there's that. We did that, we did that, we did that. This one is maybe, okay, the next two that I have to show, one of them is just like tiny little flower and it's my favorite, and the next one is just like ginormous and it's also my favorite. So this ginormous one, this is a magnolia with a leaf, and I haven't really steamed it or anything yet. I need to steam those leaves out. But holy cow, you guys, this is a gorgeous flower, and it was really, really easy to knit. The designer, this one is not in her book. This is from a different designer, and I'll link her down below. I can't remember off the top of my head who it was. But her whole thing was that she didn't want to have to knit 18 different individual petals. So she devised a way to do the back section that has like 6, and then the top section that has 5. And then put them together. So she didn't have to stitch together all of those petals. And the leaf was a little challenging, and I ended up fudging it because I believe that there may be a mistake in the pattern, because when I did it to the letter, it did not work out. So I went back, kind of after doing some other leaves, I kind of knew how a leaf shape worked, and so I just did that on my own. But yay! That was really pretty. I really like that one. It didn't take very long. I think it probably took less time than these little guys, which are my favorites. And these are little violas. Look at those! Oh my god, I'm gonna do the thing again. So I can hold these up here. Let's see. Focus! Focus! Focus. Fine, fuck you. It's not gonna focus. Meh. Anyway, these are super fun. I did a few of them. I think they would look really beautiful all together in a group. But these were, the first one that I did was a little fiddly, but after doing the second one, then the third one was really, really easy. I felt like I really had a good grasp on what it was that was happening. And there's this whole part where you have to knit you knit the first part, and then on the back of the first part, you knit this bar, and then you're working off of that bar, and I did not understand what that meant. What the heck is a bar? How do you, what? But yeah, once I figured that out, super, super easy, super cute little flowers. Those don't take me very long, maybe 20 minutes if I'm being distracted by other things. Now this one, I'm going to show you a couple of duds. So there's also a pansy. Pansy is a total dud. It is not a good pattern. And like I said, part of that could be because I'm a relatively inexperienced crocheter, but I feel like it should have gone together very similarly to how the violas did, and it really doesn't. And it leaves you with an empty back part where there's nothing to hook into to do that final petal. So I just went, fuck it, I'm just not gonna do it. So yeah, that one was a waste of time and a dud. The other one that I think is a waste, and this is actually a dud because of the pattern. The pattern itself, it's this beautiful butterfly. And when I hold it up like this, it looks like a beautiful butterfly. But what you cannot tell from the picture, actually you can tell from the picture. The picture looks like it's an asymmetrical butterfly, but they've got it on an angle like this. And so you think, oh, well, it just looks like that because of the picture. No, I'm going to hold her by her little head here. It's totally asymmetrical. That there and this is not the same as on this side. I think I can create one that will be the same, but in the meantime, that looks like crap. No. Poo, bad pattern, meh. But it was fun to try anyway. And the yarn was really slippery. I think if I end up trying that one again, I want to try and fix it. I want to try and do, and I can see exactly what needs to be done. There needs to be more stitches down here on this side and more over here. It's, I think it's going to be an easy fix, but I'm going to do it with not slippery yarn because the yarn I was using was horribly slippery. Very soft and shiny, but slippery as hell. So for now, those are my flowers. I've actually made a whole bunch more, and I already have taken them out to her, and so I don't have any more to show you right now. But there's some on my Instagram. You can go and look on there. My Instagram, by the way, is ZZZIRAAA. Zira. Okay. I'm going to call this project a work in progress, even though it's finished. Okay. This is my In Goddess We Trust hat, and let me see if I can sort of finagle it. The reason I'm calling this a work in progress is because I have to do it all over again, you guys. My color work was fine. My floats are fine. They're not too tight. They're plenty loose enough. But the hat itself is too small. It looks huge. It looks like it would totally fit any mammoth bonehead, but It doesn't stretch enough to get over this part right here. This might fit it. This would fit a kid for sure, but I ain't giving this hat to no kid. So, In Goddess We Trust with a really pretty font, and then the beautiful goddess with her spiral. As soon as I work this hat out in such a way, I think that what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually alter the pattern to be knit flat and seamed up, because I just think that's going to work better that way. I did this in fingering weight yarn. It didn't take very long. I don't know. I could do intarsia. Intarsia. Sorry. Intarsia apparently is something to do with the fishing industry, and the thing that we do in knitting is actually intarsia. That's something I learned recently. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna figure something out, because I really want this hat. I want to make it a pattern so that people can get the pattern and knit the hat. You know, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time spent on something that didn't work out. So that's a frustrating moment of knitting. But those moments happen, and the process of actually knitting was really satisfying. The process of designing the font style and the goddess herself, very satisfying. I'm just bummed out that it won't fit over my head. And I don't have a fat head, you guys. I'm fat everywhere else, but I have a relatively small head. Okay, other things are finished. I may have showed this before. I don't think that I did, though. I went back and looked. I've got my bell ruffle gloves. These are just a beautiful... Here, let me come back a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh, you can see the whole thing now. It's like a miracle. Beautiful little fingerless mitts. They're super fun. I'll put one on that isn't on the braceleted hand. So yeah, super cute. They're really comfortable. They're really warm. They're fingers free. They've got little sassy little buttons to match the trim. These are on my Etsy shop right now. If you want to purchase them, you may. I'm going to be keeping that slot on my Etsy open for custom orders if anybody has favorite colors that they would like a pair of these knit up into. I ask that you give me 7 to 10 days, just because I may need to go get the yarn. I may not have the yarn in stock. But I'm very quick with these. It takes me about, once I sit down to do them, it takes me about 1 day, you know, 1 day's worth of knitting to get those done. Maybe a day and a half if I'm really busy. So that's cool. I don't think I've showed these guys yet. I may have shown, I feel like I did, but you know what? I went back through all of my videos and I didn't see it. So I don't know. This is the Durga Gama baby cardigan. I'm going to undo these a little bit so you can see. So it just ties in the front. Oh my god, you guys. I did these in a beautiful organic cotton. I got the purple one and I got the yellow one. Oh my god. Here, let me do the autofocus thing again. Let's see here. Come on now. Focus. It might just be the bright lights. But, oh my god. It makes my womb flutter. I did 2 of those that are going to be given to a friend of mine who recently had a baby. I'm so excited. Tie this up and put away. Durga Gama. Sorry, you know what? Let me go back real quick just for a second. Those bell ruffle mitts were by VO Knits on Ravelry. The Durga Gama baby cardigan is by Henriette. And she has a very unusual last name that I've actually never seen before, and I don't have any idea how to pronounce it, so I'm not going to, but I will link it below so you can just click on her. And then, oh my god, you guys. Did I show you this yet? Could I have? Oh my god, it's the nut brown hair hat. Oh my god. I cannot even. Look at that tiny little baby hat. Oh my god. With cables and bunny ears. Oh. I want to knit 100 of these and just have them. Oh my god. Anyway, again, another gift for my friend who had a baby. And the nut brown hair hat is by Sally Cameron. on Ravelry. Sally Cameron. Let's see, you guys, I'm almost done with my things to show you. Muley. As far as works in progress, you know, it's the usual. It's the northeasterly hat. I'll just show it briefly. I haven't got a lot of progress on it since last time, maybe a couple of more sections. Right now I'm working on this pretty yarn. That's going to be a lovely addition, I think. I had to actually, it had been so long since I knit on that because I've been on this crochet flower kick and baby garments kick that I had forgotten exactly how the pattern works, so I had to go back and look at it again and be like, oh yeah, that's right. But anyway, so those are my finished objects and my works in progress, and that's that. I wanted to talk to you guys about a thing real quick. So there's a thread on Ravelry that is talking about not just inclusivity with people of different colors and races and backgrounds, but people of different abilities as well. And I had misunderstood some of the conversation in that thread initially. I thought what was being asked for was unrealistic at best. It seemed that what was being asked for was for every designer and knitter to make every size and every different. For example, people have ports. There's different kinds of ports that you have. Some people have bags that, you know, that their waist goes into and they have to work around that, or they have trakes, or just all kinds of different shunts and things like that. And it sounded like what they were wanting was for every single pattern to be adaptable to every single disability or issue or, you know, or whatever. And I just don't think that that is realistic. As awesome as it would be for everyone to have access to everything, that it's just not realistic. I think that highlighting patterns that have different options for different kinds of things is really important. I think that's really awesome. But that actually is not the part even that really confused me. The part that confused me was people were talking about podcasts and that they felt basically they were hurting themselves on other podcasters because some people knit faster than others. And when they would see that the knitters from these podcasts were doing, you know, a couple of sweaters and a few pairs of socks and a bunch of dishcloths and blah, blah, blah all in a month, they were offended by it, or they were put off by it because they themselves can't do that. And I disagreed with that wholeheartedly. I watch podcasts kind of specifically for content. I know that I don't knit as fast as a lot of people, and so I don't have sweater after sweater to show you every week. But I enjoy seeing people's finished projects. The thing is, I had misunderstood the conversation. It wasn't about, hey, slow down for me. Slow down because I can't keep up. That's how I took it. That's what it sounded like initially. And I thought, that's ridiculous. Get over it. That is not cool. You cannot compare yourself to somebody else. You can't hurt yourself on somebody else. That's not fair to that person. You do what you can do, and others will do what they can do. Some people are going to do more than you. Some people are going to do less. But I think in going back and reading more of those posts, I think what they were saying was more along the lines of, I want a podcast that isn't focused solely on the finished object. They're wanting to see the whole process, the mistakes that you may have had when you had to rip back a whole bunch. They want to know why. What did you do? Why did you do that? How did you do it? How did you fix it? And they wanted, you know, there's a lot of people out there that would rather see one item finished a month with all the little steps along the way that got you there than 15 finished items with no explanation as to how they got done. And that made sense. That I totally was on board with. Totally makes sense. Don't hurt yourself on other people. If you don't knit as fast as someone else, that is not their fault. It's not your fault either, but you don't have a right to hurt yourself on them. That's harmful to you, and it's harmful to them too. So in all of that, I found that there are many podcasts. Part of the problem was that people were thinking that all the podcasts are just focused on churning it out as fast as you can. And you know what? That's just not true, you guys. I found a bunch of podcasts that that are way into like the step-by-step, the details, the heartbreaks over the mistakes or the errors in the pattern and the having to rework things. And I wanted to share some of those with you because if you know about them, then maybe you could follow those podcasts instead of the prolific producers, I guess. So first of all, I would recommend watching The Fat Squirrel Speaks. Amy Beth is awesome. Oh, it sounds like my door just opened. Amy Beth is really awesome. She's a woman of size, and she talks a lot about different sizing options and how to alter things to get the size you want, and how to just be a badass in your own skin. And I love her. She's so rad. The Knitting the Stash podcast, Melissa, is super awesome, and sometimes her husband comes on. He does really cool other handy, crafty kinds of things. He's making a prison bus, like doing a prison bus remodel, which is really awesome. She does a lot of alterations of patterns. She'll take a sweater that she had from years ago and re-knit it like in a modern way. And she's just very thorough with information about what she's doing, how to do it. So she's a really good one that's not just a super producer, but she's really detail-oriented and really fun to watch. I really like watching the Earth Tones Girl podcast. Denise is super soft-spoken, very gentle and calming, really nice to watch if you're having a stressed out day. She does beautiful work, and she's just a beautiful human. And I think that's a really good one. Squirrel Pie Productions, Tommy, is hilarious and makes beautiful projects and talks all about them. And it's not just about, look at the finished thing, look at the finished thing. There's a lot of progress in that one. Lindsay from A Wooden Nest, the A Wooden Nest podcast, is also super soft-spoken and gentle and really easy to watch. And her whole aesthetic is just really gorgeous. And I know she has a brand new baby, and so she might not be podcasting right now, but hopefully soon she'll be back into it. She's fantastic work. She is also a natural dyer, and she goes into the process of that a bit, which is really nice. The Hey Brown Berry podcast, Mars, is really, really awesome. She's, again, another one who I find just really soothing and comforting to watch. And talks about all kinds of other things, not just knitting or finished objects, but it's kind of a little bit more of a, has kind of a slower paced feel, you know what I mean? Like not the rush, get it done, but just really, really gentle and warm. Of course, Ninja Chickens, Maria, her podcast is gorgeous, and she talks about all kinds of stuff from natural dyeing to living on the little mini homestead kind of a thing, and her beautiful, amazing cordwood house that's got 18 or 21 sides or something like that. It's just this amazing house that they built with their own hands. She talks a lot about that. It's really great. And then also the Quirky Monday podcast. Kalisha, who also goes as Nadir Tani, I believe, has a really beautiful podcast, and she does a lot of crochet. She does some knitting. She talks about the process again. And she talks about her life. All of these people that I've mentioned are just super real, just really down to earth, just a really good vibe. I don't know what else to say other than I think that everybody would get something out of these podcasts. And then two of my favorite recent podcasts that I want to talk about. One of them is not a knitting podcast, it's an embroidery podcast, but I recently started doing embroidery again. And it's the Handiworks podcast, and it's gorgeous, and there's not much, if any, explanation, but the camera angle and what she's doing with her hands is so clear to see that you don't need You don't even need ears. You can be completely deaf and completely understand what's going on. You can have never embroidered in your life and you still will understand what's going on and how to do these stitches that she's doing, because she takes it very slow and just literally piece by piece just goes through it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then my most favorite podcast of the moment, and probably for the rest of however long she wants to podcast, is the Gingerale podcast. Have you seen her? She is hilarious. Holy crap. You guys. Okay, so you know how I don't edit? I probably should edit because, god damn. But I don't edit because I don't have time for that shit. Well, Gingerale edits. She edits the shit out of her podcast, and it is hilarious. The way that she puts it together and these kooky little things that she does. Oh my god, she's so funny and so down to earth and so real, and I feel like if we were in the same town, we'd be BFFs, I tell you. So yeah, check out her podcast. You can find it. Gingerale. You just type that into YouTube, you'll find it. So yeah, any of these. Oh, she also talks about like tarot and, you know, fun stuff like that too. So there's an added bonus. Anyway, yeah, that's my podcast today, you guys. I'm going to sit here and go for a few minutes while I think if there's anything else. And I don't think there is. I think that's it. That's really, really it. So I hope you're having a magnificent spring. I know I am. I'm going to go get out in the yard and play with the bunnies for a while, I think. Maybe I'll put a couple of them in the freezer. Who knows? It's hard to say. Anyway, see you next time. Bye!